ABC News smears Tulsi Gabbard again. Hi, thanks for watching. Today is Monday, and I would like to talk to you about a story from yesterday that happened on This Week with George Stephanopoulos. This is a news program that's weekly on every Sunday. A lot of people will only get their news from Sunday morning programs. My dad is one of those people. He doesn't watch the nightly news. He doesn't watch CNN and Fox News and MSNBC throughout the week. That's too much for him. But he does like to watch his Sunday morning news programs. If you don't know George Stephanopoulos, he got his start. He was the director of communications for Bill Clinton's 92 campaign and later became the White House communications director. Now, he's no longer in politics per se. He's got a show on ABC, but he still does like to smear people that go against the DNC establishment. And as evidence of that, here's him speaking with Tulsi Gabbard.
You've said we have to end the new Cold War, and you have taken a notably softer line on Vladimir Putin and Russia than some other Democrats and Republicans. I want to put up a headline from the Daily Beast this week that said Tulsi Gabbard's campaign is being boosted by Putin apologists. And, you know, in the past, you met with Assad. You defended Russian military operations in Syria. You opposed the arrest of Julian Assange, suggested that Russian election meddling is no worse than America's historically. Do you believe that Vladimir Putin is a threat to U.S. national security?
Okay, so that was the question. He didn't just ask a simple question. He could have just asked, is Putin a threat to national security? You see, this is only a 6-minute segment. That's all the time that they have. But he felt the need to put in all of this list of things before his question, such as, you have a softer line on Putin and Russia, right? That's a negative thing. He puts up a Daily Beast article side by side with her, which is a total smear job, and I'll explain that a little bit later, that Tulsi met with Assad without giving her time to explain that she defended Russian military operations in Syria without giving her time to explain that, talked about being opposed to the arrest of Julian Assange without giving her time to explain that, talking about Russia meddling in the election being no worse than what America does without giving time to explain that. He gives this big laundry list of negative things about her without giving her time to explain. Now, she does a nice job in pivoting and answering the question the way that she would like to. I think it came across very well. But this is not fair journalism. You're not just asking a question. He's not just asking, hey, is Putin a threat to national security? Because that would be fair. Ask a question, get an answer. What he's doing is he's put out this huge list of things that she cannot answer. There's only 2 minutes left in the segment. She can't address all of the things that he's dumping on her. And to put up this Daily Beast article on the right-hand side is just a total smear. But first, here's her response.
You know, it's unfortunate that you're citing that article, George, because it's a whole lot of fake news. What I am focused on is what is in the best interest of the American people. What is in the best interest of our national security, keeping the American people safe. And what I'm pointing out consistently, time and time again, is that our continued wasteful regime change wars have been counterproductive to the interests of the American people. And the approach that this administration has taken in essentially choosing conflict rather than seeing how we can cooperate and work out our differences with other countries in the world has been counterproductive to our national
security. Many Democrats have been tougher on Vladimir.
I think that was an excellent response given the terrible smear of a question. But let's go over to this Daily Beast article that was put up side by side on the screen as he was giving this question. It says, Tulsi Gabbard's campaign is being boosted by Putin apologists. Now, right off the bat, you'll see right at the top here, we have Shabaka Bites Shvelik, which is dog bites man in Russian. So we've got the Russian Cyrillic alphabet up there to, that's evil, right? That's what they're trying to get across here. These guys that wrote the article, Lashane Marquet and Sam Stein, they're too stupid to even get their joke right. The translation is dog bites man. Dog bites man is not an article, right? It's supposed to be man bites dog. That's what's interesting. That's the old journalistic trope, is man bites dog, and they got it wrong. Shabaka bites Shalevik is dog bites man. They are either too stupid to understand what they did there, or they don't double check any of the work that they do. Either way, it doesn't reflect well on the writers of this hit piece. Now, what we learn in the article, what they did is they went through all of Tulsi Gabbard's donors, so 70,000 or so donors, and they found two people in there that they have an objection to, one of which is a Russian language professor at NYU, gave a donation to Tulsi Gabbard, and the second person is someone that used to work at RT, Russia Today, the television network in D.C. That's it. But because these two people gave her a donation, they're going to smear her as being, this is who Putin is for. It's a total smear job. And of all people, Nancy Pelosi explains this. She calls it the Wrapup Smear.
Call it the Wrapup Smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the Wrapup Smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
And see, that's what happened here. The Daily Beast wrote a smear job article on Tulsi Gabbard, and then she went on this week with George Stephanopoulos, and then he put that smear up side by side of her and validated that original smear job. Now, it comes full circle because Politico wrote about this, and they put out something afterwards that says Gabbard calls unflattering report fake news. It's not just an unflattering report. The article is a total smear job, and it is fake news. But here we have David Beavers on Politico talking about this incident that happened on ABC News. And in his article here, he says, fake news is a favorite phrase of President Donald Trump. In the last 2 months, he's tweeted it more than 24 times. So now we have Politico referencing the ABC News appearance, referencing the Daily Beast article. It's a smear job. It's a smear job. It's a smear job. And it is a perfect example of the wrap-up smear. This is how the media takes one thing and then they report on what the other people are reporting on. And they can just do this forever. This is not journalism. This is awful. This is a smear job. The Daily Beast, George Stephanopoulos and ABC News, and Politico should all be embarrassed for what they did here. But they won't, because they're part of the system. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Peace.